Absolutely, without a doubt. We wouldn't be able to get away without saying about Tonja and Hannah. Their work is just phenomenal, and that for the first time On Back came out. I was saying to someone before that for a while, all the way throughout my childhood, I loved watching Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung movies and Jet Li movies all the way up. And then there was like a period when I kind of drifted away from martial arts for maybe about 5 or 6 years. And then when On Back came out, it made it incredibly cool again, and it kind of just, it made it fresh and felt like, incredible to watch. So that was one of the things that kind of relaunched my interest in martial arts again. But obviously we borrow heavily from like Jackie Chan as well. One of the things we borrow for him is the idea of making Iko's character vulnerable in his fights, not just like a killer machine, but have somebody who gets beaten a lot. Plus I like seeing him getting hit as well.
Anyone else? Yes.
Me?
Yep.
What's next? What have you been working on now? Are you going back to your 9 to 5?
I hope not. We're developing a script which is going to be the sequel to this one, which will be a continuation of Iko's character. Maybe you can all come for my investor meeting, yeah? Yeah, we're working on that. Originally we were working on a script called Baranda, which was going to be about Iko ending up being involved in sort of like a gangster's world after he ends up in prison. And that was supposed to be the one that followed after Miranda. But then when we couldn't get the budget for that, because that's like a way bigger project, the scope of that is huge, we ended up working on ideas for this instead. And as I was developing this one, I started to like the idea more that Iko's character could now kind of go undercover, actually expand his character, expand the fact that he's a father now in the second movie, and sort of explore all these different emotional elements. So Brandel has been shifted into the sequel now. So 15%, 20% left of the rewrite.
Hi, this was phenomenal, especially so close. One, how do you come up with your ideas to really hurt people well on screen? And two, it seems like there's a video game structure to it, where every time you go through, there's a big boss, you gotta kind of get to the next level. And I see that as Space Invader shirt, so I'm wondering if that had anything to do with your creative process.
The whole film was an homage to this film. Yeah, I mean, sorry, what was the first part of the question?
First part is how do you come up with
the
ideas
idea
to hurt people well?
Oh, okay.
Someone gets the face in the concrete.
Sometimes it'll be that, I mean, when we design the choreography, Iko and Yayan are kind of involved in all of the sort of the technique and the complexities of the Silat aspect of it. And then when I'll come in, then I'll kind of make it a little bit more violent and kind of push more. I'll be like, don't just throw him, slam him against the wall or something. And we figured it out later with the stunt team. Yeah, that's kind of like the process. We kind of work on it. We workshop it together, and then yeah, all of the violent stuff. I don't know really. Maybe I'm just sick. I don't know.
What's the video game structure?
The video game structure? Yeah. One of the things we really wanted to do with this is to kind of have bad guy characters pop up and lead the audience to believe like, oh, this guy's going to be a challenge, and then cut him under just before you think he's going to be like an important part. Like the guy who pulls the machete out from under the table and then shoots the guy in cold blood by the intercom. Next thing, we just hack him apart with one of the other bad guys, and then that guy's like, okay, I'm the new boss, and then just come up and, yeah, coming up with ways like that. We knew the structure because of the whole idea of going floor by floor. It would definitely have a certain like video game feel for it. So if anyone wants to make a video game for it, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes.
I found it unusual and unique about this film that the final martial arts battle is a 2-on-1 with 2 heroes and 1 villain. I don't see that very often, and it was obviously something that very early on you decided on. Why did you decide on that? And you went to a lot of effort to make that work dramatically. Yeah. I wonder if you could talk about that.
For me, like that was sort of my way of kind of. I love Jackie Chan films, like I said earlier. One of my favorite sort of final fight rumbles is Dragon Lord with Jackie Chan and Mars against Wang Yiming. And that's just brutal. They're just throwing each other like crazy, and there's so many stunts, and it's a 2-on-1, but 2 good guys and 1 bad guy. And that was kind of us sort of saying, hey, that's a really cool fight, let's do our version of that. But at the same time, what we wanted to try and do with that was kind of fuse that kind of the chaotic slams and throws and all this sort of rough raw fighting, but with some kind of complex choreography in there as well. So we're trying to find the balance between the two.